Coming up tonight on Newswatch, voters in a local city are set to consider allowing cannabis business in town. We'll have details on what that could mean for city finances. Plus, advocates are calling for more train services in Illinois. We have the changes they're calling for in our area. Emily?
It was slightly warmer today with highs reaching the 40s for some, but a much warmer big up is on the way. I'll have the full details coming up. This is Newswatch, and your Tuesday evening's edition starts now.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection, commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street, the Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Emily Davis.
And I'm Rashad Jones. Transportation advocates in Illinois are pushing for more regular train service on key routes. Illinois State Representatives Rita Mayfield, Cam Buckner, and Ram Villavalum are promoting 2 bills that would increase rail frequency linking major cities in Illinois and neighboring states. The plan calls for hourly service between Chicago and Champaign and Chicago and St. Louis. It also calls for service every 4 hours between Champaign and Carbondale. Backers say the changes are important to the state's economic and environmental future and will improve quality of life. Voters in Olney will have the chance to weigh in on allowing cannabis sales. Those voters will see an advisory referendum on their primary election ballots. Our partner station, WTHI, reports the question comes after months of discussions about whether to allow cannabis dispensaries within city limits. The city's mayor says additional revenue from dispensaries could help pay for much-needed improvements.
It is good tax money. It would raise revenue that we could use towards our streets, which are desperately needed in town. And I think that at least a couple of our council members, myself included, believe that if we do get a dispensary, that 100% of that money would go towards fixing infrastructure and streets in town, because we need an additional revenue source to make that happen.
The mayor says this vote is strictly advisory, meaning it won't directly change city law. Instead, it's a chance for voters to tell the mayor and city council what they think. Early voting is underway and runs through Election Day on March 17th. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul joins a coalition of 14 attorney generals to challenge a new IRS notice targeting renewable energy. Energy developers used to be able to qualify for long-standing federal tax credits for wind and solar energy projects by either starting significant physical construction or by investing a 5% of a project's final cost. But that new IRS notice removes the 5% option for most wind projects and large solar facilities, while not affecting other energy industries. Raoul and the coalition says this notice is unlawful, arbitrary, and harmful to consumers.
Warmer today outside, although it didn't feel like it. We saw high temperatures in the 40s for most of the viewing area. A high temperature of 40 degrees here in Charleston, although we did reach 42 in Effingham and in Taylorville, but we saw mostly cloudy skies and windy conditions, which made it feel a little bit cooler than that as we moved throughout the daytime. But as we move overnight tonight, we're going to see those temperatures drop back down into the 30s and below freezing. A low temperature overnight tonight of 30 degrees under those mostly cloudy skies, but those winds are going to calm down as we move overnight tonight, blowing out of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour as we move throughout the nighttime. But looking at tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures continuing to warm with a high temperature back in the 40s. That's a first look at your Skywatch forecast. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Emily. In other news, a man is in jail charged with setting fire to a home in Charleston. Charleston police say around 6:30 this morning, they were called to a house fire in the 700 block of 11th Street with people inside the home. Investigators say they believe this fire was intentionally set by 20-year-old Daniel Hernandez during a domestic dispute with other residents. They say Hernandez fought officers before being safely detained in the Coles County Jail. Authorities say one person suffered minor injuries from the fire but refused medical treatment. They say Hernandez was arrested for aggravated arson. A Danville man is arrested on charges he attacked a postal worker. Danville police say they arrested Jay Ollis yesterday after he allegedly shot a USPS driver with a BB gun while the employee was delivering mail back on February 17th. Last week, officers were notified of the crime in the 200 block of Hazel Street. Investigators say they pinpointed the crime to Ollis and arrested him in the unit block of East Harrison Street. They say he's been arrested and taken to the Vermilion County Jail on preliminary charges of aggravated battery. Decatur police are investigating a hit-and-run crash that left a woman with area of Oakland and El Laredo Avenues around 2:20. They say a 62-year-old pedestrian was hit by a 2013 Dodge Durango that fled the scene. Police say the woman was taken to a hospital with life-threatening injuries.
A Decatur man is dead after a welfare check from police. Decatur police say officers responded to a report of a person in distress around 11 last night. The department says officers spent a significant amount of time engaging in conversation to de-escalate the situation, but they say officers determined the person needed medical attention and took them into non-arrest custody to take them to the hospital. But the department says the person resisted officer efforts and officers used force to overcome that resistance. They say after being detained, the person began showing signs of respiratory distress and medical personnel began resuscitative efforts. The person was then taken to the hospital and pronounced dead. The Illinois State Police were requested to conduct an independent investigation by state law. Staying in Decatur, firefighters are taking part in a statewide program that will keep homeowners and their alarms safer. The City of Decatur Fire Department has announced they'll be participating in the Be Alarmed program that's providing free 10-year sealed smoke alarms and safety education to eligible homeowners. DFD crew can visit the homes, install the smoke alarms free of charge, and provide help on how to prevent and plan escape routes from fires. 2 people are in custody after a crash involving a stolen vehicle led to a foot chase and a manhunt. Effingham officers responded to that crash at the intersection of Keller Drive and Marguerite Lane around 12:40 yesterday. They say the 2 people who were in the stolen vehicle ran off. The Effingham Police Department says the suspects were reported to be 2 young males and they were taken into custody within an hour. Local authorities directed Newswatch to Illinois State Police for more information, but we have not heard back yet. The Charleston Carnegie Public Library has set the date for its annual fundraiser. Literature and Libations takes place at the library Saturday, April 25th at 6 p.m. The event features live music from the Halos and an EIU jazz trio, as well as a prize raffle and refreshments. Proceeds from the fundraiser will go to upgrade the library's water fountains to include bottle fill stations. The library says these provide a safe water source for visitors while also reducing plastic waste. For ticket details, you can contact the Charleston Carnegie Public Library.
Well, Emily, it's been another cool day in Central Illinois.
And I'll have a full check of your weekday forecast coming up.
An unsuspecting sanitation worker got quite the scare when they popped the top on a bin, not finding trash, but a person wedged inside who, upon spotting police, quickly bolted and was later arrested. Huber Heights, Ohio police say this trash can caper started when the suspect ran from a traffic stop. Dashcam just happened to catch the moment the worker lifts the lid on the case, frantically pointing police in the direction of a person emerging from the hiding spot. Police posting online saying, as luck would have it, Oscar the Grouch, as we've nicknamed our suspect, appeared at just the right place and the right time. Officers say that suspect was taken into custody and no one was injured. Check out these cows running rampant along a New York interstate. Get it? Traffic had to steer around the byway barnyard as, well, this poor person does their best to contain the utter chaos. Reportedly, a trio of animals liberated themselves from a broken-down trailer. All 3 were eventually wrangled, according to state police. This happy pair is back together after the dog spent 43 days on the run in the Rocky Mountains. Video posted by Summit Lost Pet Rescue shows the moment they were reunited. The dog, literally named Rocky, got loose from a sitter while his owner Steven was skiing in Keystone, Colorado during a cross-country road trip. Steven enlisted the help of the pet rescue to hunt down his four-legged friend. They spotted Rocky 3 days later but couldn't corral the canine. "40 days later, they got a call about Rocky's location and tracked him down. After spending a little time with a vet to get healthy, Rocky and Steven were reunited and got to finish their trip to California. For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
Before we get to our forecast, here's your chance to learn a little bit more about weather. Each spring, the National Weather Service hosts an in-person and virtual spotter talks across the state. That includes 2 local sessions. The first one is at the Robinson Firehouse on Saturday, February 28th at 6:30 in the evening. Another is at Eastern Illinois University's Buzzard Hall on Monday, March 2nd, also at 6:30. The one in-person training covers how to plan for severe weather, storm structure and movement, and identifying important storm features. All sessions last around 2 hours and are open and free to the public. Now, training can be very useful as we move closer to that springtime, but we are not quite there yet. We're still 24 days from that official start of spring. So that spring equinox will be on March 20th this year as we move forward into March eventually, but we are not quite there yet. And it didn't feel like spring outside certainly today. It was a little bit warmer, but we saw mostly cloudy skies. Here across Eastern's campus, we saw those mostly cloudy skies, and that's going to continue into overnight. But throughout the daytime today, we did reach the 40s, which is warmer than what we have been seeing, but it felt a lot cooler because of those cloudy skies and because of the strong wind gusts that we were seeing throughout the daytime today. A high temperature of 40 degrees here in Charleston, although we did get up to 42 in some parts of the area, but not quite reaching 40 in some of the northern portions of our viewing area. Now, currently, we're still seeing temperatures in the 40s in parts of the area, but those temperatures have begun to drop as we move into the evening hours, and they're going to continue to do so as we move overnight. A high temperature of just 30 degrees throughout the nighttime. We're going to see mostly cloudy skies staying with us as we move overnight, but those winds are finally going to calm down as we move overnight. Calmer winds blowing out of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour as we do move into tomorrow morning. Now, we're going to be seeing those mostly cloudy skies staying with us though throughout the nighttime. You did notice there are a few possible flurries, possible ice as we move overnight tonight, but it will be very scattered and hit or miss if it does fall because of the dry surface that we have been experiencing. But as we move into tomorrow, those mostly cloudy skies will finally clear, and we're going to be seeing some clear skies throughout the afternoon, although those clouds will return to us as we move into the evening hours tomorrow. Now, we're going to be seeing warmer temperatures tomorrow, once again in the 40s with a high temperature of 46 degrees. But as we move overnight Wednesday, there is a possibility for another chance of some wintry mix, possible snow or ice, but once again, not anything heavy as we move overnight. We are going to be seeing those clouds clearing as we move into the afternoon, but once again, those clouds will return to us as we move into Wednesday evening, eventually overnight Wednesday night, that possibility for some wintry mix. But as we move into Thursday, temperatures will warm back up into the 40s again. A high temperature around the same as Wednesday with a high temperature of 47 degrees, partly cloudy skies starting to clear, and that clearing is going to continue as we move into the end of our work week. A high temperature of 57 degrees in clear sunny skies. So Friday will be the day you'll want to get outside and enjoy that nice weather, because after that, temperatures will start to drop down again. A high temperature of just 50 degrees as we start our weekend, still a little bit warmer than what we have been seeing, but dropping back down under partly cloudy skies to start off our weekend. Now, the reason why we're seeing this is because of our upper level jet stream. You can notice on Thursday we're under a trough of colder air, which is causing temperatures to drop down, but that will turn into a shallow ridge of warmer air as we move into Friday. Eventually into Saturday, we'll still be under that ridge, but it will start to decrease as we move into Saturday because those temperatures will be dropping, although we will still be above average for the next 6 to 10 days. The average is typically in the 40s for this time of year. And as we look at the next 7 days, we're going to see a few days in the 40s, a few days in the 50s, but eventually we will start to drop back off again. A high temperature in the upper 40s for the next few days. That chance for wintry mix overnight Wednesday night, but then that nice day on Friday to finish off your work week with a high temperature of 57 degrees with mostly clear skies before those temperatures will begin to drop back off again. High temperature of 39 degrees as we make it to the end of the weekend. But we will continue to drop down on Monday as well with a high temperature of 30 with another chance for some wintry mix, possible ice as well as we start next work week, so we only have a few more days of temperatures warming back up again.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get with the central Illinois weather, but hopefully when the spring comes, it can be a little bit more consistent. Well, thanks, Emily. Still to come, President Trump gives his State of the Union speech tonight. We'll have a preview. Plus,
we'll have the latest on a deadly manhunt in Missouri. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
Are you tired of the snow and cold weather? It's not too late to book a spring getaway.
There are loads of places that still have availability and places that you can find great deals.
Emily Kaufman, known as the Travel Mom, says if you're looking for somewhere warm, all-inclusive resorts are great for families.
They're a great way to stick to a budget, and you get so much value. Your accommodations, your meals.
Looking for something adventurous like skiing? If you book at a Vail Resort, which are located at various ski towns, you can get $100 or more off per lift ticket if you book at least 4 weeks in advance.
That's a savings of 30%.
Kaufman recommends Keystone Resort for families. There's one located right outside of Breckenridge, Colorado. If you don't want to splurge on a long hotel stay, Kaufman says check out Resort Pass. They sell day passes to hotels and spas at more than 2,500 locations in the U.S., Caribbean, Mexico, and parts of South America. When you're planning your trip, check out the community's Convention and Visitors Bureau because they'll often advertise special deals on local activities. Kaufman says being flexible with your travel dates will help keep down the cost, but that can be tricky when you're tied to the school calendar.
Flights are going to be challenging because it's all about supply and demand.
Kaufman suggests checking alternate airports around your destination city because prices can fluctuate. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
In tonight's National Watch, a man suspected of killing 2 deputies in Missouri and injuring 2 others is dead. The sheriff in Christian County, south of Springfield, Missouri, says law enforcement killed Richard Byrd in a shootout early this morning. He says 1 deputy was killed in that shootout and 2 others were hurt. The sheriff says the suspect was wanted for shooting another member of law enforcement in a separate incident on Monday. Officials identified that person who died as 30-year-old Christian County Deputy Gabriel Ramirez.
The suspect, once deputies were close to him, immediately opened fire on the deputies, and 3 deputies were shot during that time. We have 1 deputy from Christian County that is deceased from this incident here, 1 other Christian County deputy that's shot with non-life-threatening injuries, and we have a Webster County deputy that's also shot with non-life-threatening injuries from what we are told. The suspect continued to fire rounds at officers and deputies. The law enforcement officers on scene returned fire, and the suspect is deceased.
This morning's shootout came after an intensive search and a blue alert issued by the Missouri Highway Patrol. President Trump is hours away from delivering his State of the Union address. Administration officials say the president will build the speech around the nation's 250th anniversary and will highlight stories of American heroes, past and present. They also say the president will highlight administration's accomplishments and future plans to improve affordability. The speech begins at 8 Central Time. We now turn our attention to sports, and here with the headlines is my co-anchor, Rashad Jones.
Thanks, Emily. Coming up in sports tonight, Eastern Illinois Track and Field prepares for their biggest meet of the season. Also, Charleston basketball is back in action, and 1 player had a game that the school will never forget. Thanks for watching. Your WEIU Sports Watch report is coming up next.
Hello, this is Jared Hawkup, EIU class of 2009. I spent 4 great years at Eastern Illinois University, 3 of which I was part of a wonderful team at WEIU. I have now been working in scoreboard operations and fan entertainment for the St. Louis Cardinals at Busch Stadium for more than 16 years. And I owe that in large part to the experience I gained while at WEIU. WEIU needs us all now more than ever. Unfortunately, WEIU has lost their federal funding, and they need us all to consider a donation of support to keep them going strong. All the donor information is located at weiu.net. Please consider your best gift of support. We are WEIU. Thank you.
It's postseason time for Charleston High School as they hit the road to take on the Highland Bulldogs. Despite having only 4 wins on the season, the Trojans put up a fight against the Bulldogs, but came up just short in the end, 69-59. Even with the loss, Charleston's all-time scoring leader, Tyler Oakley, notched 36 points with 8 3-pointers in his final game as a Trojan. CHS closes out the season with a 4-28 record and a 10-game losing streak. As for Highland, they move on in the playoffs, taking on Troy tomorrow night. A few other local teams were in action for the playoffs last night. Let's see who's moving on and whose season came to a close. The Ocala Valley Timberwolves couldn't get it done against Meridian, falling 67-58. In the same sectional, the number 1 seed Tuscola absolutely dominated Martinsville, 75-27. The Arcola Purple Riders couldn't get as lucky as Tuscola as they fall to Heritage, 61-28. Shelbyville also got dominated by Maroa Forsyth, 83-31. And finally, Windsor-Stru-Strauss pulled out the victory over Villa Grove, 85-38. The Overseas Indoor Championship awaits the Eastern Illinois track and field team. The Panthers will travel to the championship in Louisville, Kentucky, competing tonight and tomorrow. This year marks the 46th overall men's indoor championship and the 4th overall for the women's side. Last year, Little Rock men repeated as champions, while the Southeast Missouri women claimed their 3rd straight and 10th overall crown. Sports Watch will have a full recap of the championship results on tomorrow's edition. Now switch things back to the court. One University of Illinois freshman is being recognized for her stellar performance on the floor last week. Forrest Ciara Parchment is named Big Ten Freshman of the Week after helping her team win 3 straight games. The freshman averaged 19.5 points, 10 rebounds, and 3.5 steals across those 3 games. In a win against Rutgers, Parchment turned her 5th 20-point performance while also adding 10 rebounds and 4 steals to her stat line. Parchment has now collected 4 Big Ten Freshman of the Week accolades this season. The fighting lineup will be back in action against number 9th ranked Iowa. Finally tonight, Lakeland basketball is back in action tomorrow. For the women's team, they look to get their 3rd straight win as they face off against Kaskaskia College. And for the men's team, they have a chance to end their 5-game losing streak against Shawnee Community College. That's all for sports. Emily, back to you.
Thanks, Rashad. Another cold day here in central Illinois. But first, a 98-year-old woman is taking a shot at this competitive table sport. That's tonight's parting story. Thanks for watching. This is Newswatch on WEIU.
It's extraordinary. They put us in hair and makeup, which was specific.
Tom Hanks has played a lot of real people, from Fred Rogers to Walt Disney, but never a president until now. Hanks is set to play Abraham Lincoln in a film adaptation of George Saunders' best-selling novel Lincoln in the Bardo. He'll also produce the project through his Playtone label.
They all have some things in common.
Sinners writer-director Ryan Coogler is staying with the supernatural. The Oscar nominee is confirmed to write and direct a pilot episode of an X-Files reboot for Hulu. Danielle Deadweiler is set to play one of 2 FBI agents assigned to a long-shuttered division devoted to cases involving unexplained phenomena. The snowstorm in the northeastern U.S. closed Broadway for a 2nd straight evening. Many theaters are traditionally dark on Mondays, but performances of Chicago, The Great Gatsby, and Six, among other shows, had to be canceled as New York remained under a state of emergency. The show will go on, just not yet. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Finally tonight, if you're looking to stay sharp, you might take a cue from this woman. 98-year-old Maggie Kennedy of Florida is still racking them up. She doesn't just play pool for fun, she's competitive. Right now, Miss Kennedy is preparing to fly to Las Vegas for the Billiards Congress of America tournament. The Guinness Book of World Records reports she became the world's oldest competitive pool player when she was a 94-year-old. Well, back at home, Emily Davis joins us to sync a final check of the Skywatch forecast.
Well, it's going to be a little bit warmer tomorrow with a high temperature of 46 degrees, but as we move overnight Wednesday, there is a possibility for some ice and wintry mix as we move overnight. But looking past that, we're going to start to see temperatures warm up with a high temperature of 47 degrees on Thursday, eventually reaching our nicest day in the 7-day with a high temperature of 57 degrees to finish off our work week. Sunny that day as well, so make sure to get outside and enjoy that nicer weather because temperatures will be dropping back down. 50 degrees on Saturday, but then eventually dropping down further with a high of 39 degrees on Sunday, 30 degrees for our high to start off next work week with another chance of wintry mix as we move throughout that daytime. And then we're going to start to see temperatures begin to warm up again next Tuesday with a high temperature of 38 degrees. So temperatures will be rising, dropping, and then rising again.
I'll definitely make sure I'm outside to enjoy some good weather before, the cold weather comes. Well, thanks, Emily. For more news and weather, be sure to log on to our website at weiu.net. There, you'll find real-time forecasts and news video of the day.
And if news is happening in your community, let us know by dropping us an email at news@weiu.net. Have a good night.
Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon. Whatever the occasion, it's an environment for an evening of dining, conversation, and cocktails. Whatever your needs, our staff is ready. Alamo Steakhouse and Saloon, located at the Cross County Mall, Mattoon.
TCI Realty, Charleston area's real estate connection, commercial, land and farm, and residential real estate. Experienced realtors with an up-to-date website at tcirealty.net. TCI Realty supports the students of WEIU Newswatch.
The Charleston House proudly supports Newswatch. Now welcoming guests on Charleston's historic 6th Street. The Charleston House Bed and Breakfast Inn offers refined accommodations in a beautifully restored bed and breakfast. For booking information, visit craigcollection.com or call the number on screen.